Yo, we don't need no goddamn introduction. Fuck all that formal shit. We coming in here as real as it gets. That's what we do. This is plug talk. My nigga D Marachi in the building. Shout out to D Marachi.
Shout out to IV, the lifeline. So we gonna go ahead, bro.
Y'all know we here for. Let's get to it, man.
All right, so this Gunner thing, he took a plea. You know what I mean? And like the internet and people have been going crazy. That's what the streets have really been talking about, if you know what I mean. But
let's get into it.
Let's get to it.
Another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer.
What's up, Bruce?
And I am board-certified, tried, tested, true. I'm a criminal defense lawyer, and I'm a trial lawyer. That's what I do.
Shut up, you just do.
Breaking news here. I guess it's kind of breaking news since yesterday on the YSL RICO case. But before we get to that, this episode, like all of our episodes, is brought to you by...
Can you tell how Jewish he is? Welcome to the Jewish world. If you understand this language, go ahead, man, because you got a tie on. I'm gonna let you go.
And she's living in your basement. You got to get her out of there because she's just such a pain in the ass. She's tweaking out on meth, and she doesn't have a lease. Well, you go get an eviction form from eforms.com. You don't hire me. You do what you got to do. It doesn't matter what state.
Oh wow.
You go to eforms.com.
He on the internet beefing though.
There's a power of attorney, eviction form, whatever you need.
He what I call a niggerish Jew.
Like that. Okay, so now we are Sergio Kitchens, as you know, was a high-ranking YSL member, and he pled guilty yesterday in open court, and then he was released.
Okay.
From jail. So let's talk about what a plea is first. A plea is when you all of a sudden say, "Hey, look, I'm guilty." There's two parts to a plea. There's a waiver of your rights because you have a right to a trial. And a bunch of rights. You have a right to testify, cross-examine witnesses, blah, blah, blah. So you have to waive all those rights first.
Right.
It's called a factual basis. That's what we're going to show you here. Factual basis, that's where you have to admit that you committed a crime. You cannot enter a plea and not admit that you did something wrong. So let's see what the judge
and
prosecutor in this case.
Please state after each statement whether or not you agree or acknowledge that statements are true. Okay?
So this is the factual basis. So basically, you can admit to what you're doing or what you did.
Can we understand you? Let's go.
Yes, ma'am.
I became affiliated, so he all of a sudden acknowledges YSL as a gang.
YSL is a music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang. Yes, ma'am.
So not only that YSL is a gang, and he and others committed.
Hold on, pause, technical time. This nigga admitted to being a part of YSL, right?
Right.
Then he admitted to YSL being a gang. If me and you start a record label today, we started Rockefeller Records like Dame Dash, Big Merchant, and Jay-Z 29, 30 years ago.
Right.
You catch a case. You tell the courts in order to get out of jail that Rockefeller Records is not just a record company, it's a gang. Gang. Let's continue forward. We'll talk about it when we're done.
YSL.
You were present when law enforcement officers stopped the vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrocodone, methamphetamines, and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you. Yes, ma'am.
So,
oh my God.
Hold on.
Oh my God. Yeah, go ahead, Versace Marachi.
So now, they named certain items that were in the car. There were narcotics, there were guns. Well, a gun that was in the car. and the prosecutor asked, "Did these items belong to you?" He said no. Now, this is the kicker. You know what I mean? I know IV's about to go ham. There were only 2 people present in the car at the time. Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, and Sergio Kitchens, aka Gunner. They were the only 2 present. So now the prosecutor asked, did these items belong to Gunner? He said no. So if there's only 2 people involved or 2 people in the car and one says that the items don't belong to him, who does it belong to? IV, take the floor, bro.
So the unbiasedness in me has to give you the facts and the truth. So I'm gonna give you 2 scenarios. One is the scenario of me and you really brothers in blood in this gangster shit, in this street life shit. And I'm gonna give you a scenario of the latter. Okay? Cool. Let's go. Even though you ain't give me no yes or no. Let's go into the street part of it first. As my brethren and my family and my die, the nigga I will shoot for, the nigga I die for, you being Gunner, me being Thug. The first situation and scenario I'm gonna bring forth is the fact that if them guns and drugs were mine, they were mine. I'm taking out for it for sure, no matter what. If we get pulled over, you know that because you know you fuck with a real nigga. Now, the second scenario is that shit ain't mine and it's yours. You need to take out for your shit. I'm not gonna tell on you because I'm a real nigga. God damn it, man. If them guns and them drugs in my car were yours, you brought them into my car, and I fuck with you enough to hop in the car and ride with you, you better fucking take out for it. So it's 1 or 2 ways here. Either they was mine and they mine and I'm taking out for it, ain't no problem. Or either it was yours and they yours and you need to take out for that, or it's a problem.
Right. Absolutely. Want me to continue?
Let's continue.
You were with Young Thug when you had some drugs and guns in the car. Oh, and by the way, none of that shit was yours, right? Okay. Oh, who says it? Oh, I guess it must have been the other guy. Fucking A.
I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL the game to the detriment of my community. YSL as a game must end. Is that your statement or acknowledgement?
Yes. YSL's game must end. I deeply regret.
Oh my God!
Plea. She wanted that for some reason. That's the prosecutor that's standing up talking right now. There's been a lot of talk in the Twitter sphere and the atmosphere and the cybersphere about whether or not Gunna is snitching. Well, they got a trial coming up, and now he just admitted in open court all these different things. Now, Gunna's lawyer, if you look on here, it says Gunna did not snitch to get out of jail. He has said nothing and is not cooperating. He just admitted in open court. His plea statement cannot be used in court against any other defendant. Not true. So please stop spreading lies. Let's just break this down because people want to know if he's a snitcher. I can honestly tell you that I don't know if he's a snitcher.
That's true.
His lawyer says he's not cooperating, but that's what he's going to say. You wouldn't have any document to show that he's cooperating.
Right.
Can his statement be used against somebody else in
Absolutely.
Unless there's a specific agreement to not have that be used in another person's trial. It can be. Why can't it be? Because it's an admission against penal interest. That is not hearsay. Otherwise, it would be a hearsay statement. But when you make a statement under oath and you inculpate yourself, that means you point the finger at yourself that you did something wrong. That's a statement against interest. That is not hearsay, and that absolutely can be used in a trial against Young Thug. Now, these are extremely serious charges. Kitchens was released from jail on Wednesday, that's yesterday, and his lawyer said he's been held without bail in advance of trial, which is supposed to start in January. This guilty plea was an important development in one of the two sprawling Atlanta criminal cases targeting what prosecutors say are a pair of feuding gangs that have committed dozens of shootings.
No, hey, pause.
Go ahead.
The only reason why I need to pause because it takes black people sometimes a minute to focus on what's been said to them. So I want to give them a moment to catch up on everything he just said. You already said, right?
Yes.
All right. So what he's explaining to you is that what Thug is saying can and will be used. He's not immune to the situation like Kelsey was in Megan Thee Stallion case. Listen, Kelsey has immunity. So Kelsey can technically go up on the stand and say she shot Megan and the case be over with right now. The reason why when they ask her certain questions, she pleads the fifth is because she has the right to, because she has immunity. Immunity gives her the right to say, I choose to use my Fifth Amendment right not to say anything to incriminate myself, because if you ask me this question and I am forced by law to tell you the truth because I'm under oath, I can say something that could impossibly implicate me into a crime.
Yeah.
That's why a person, this is the stupidity of feminist movement that's going on with all these women that try to act like Kelsey doing something wrong to Meg. What you gotta understand is, stupid ass motherfuckers, she didn't get immunity because Meg is innocent 100% or telling the truth 100% in this case. Meg is lying. She got immunity because the prosecution understood that their whole argument only stands a chance if Kelsey comes and cooperates on their behalf. So in order for her to cooperate on their behalf, they were willing to give her immunity.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying, DiMarachi?
I understand exactly what you're saying.
This is not the people's court of Instagram. This is not the people's court of Facebook. This is the court of law, where you only win a case by facts, not by opinions, not by feelings, bro. A lot of people are projecting into this case their feelings, how they feel, what side they want to vouch for or ride with, knowing ain't none of y'all got no dogs in the race. You weren't there. You weren't invited to the party. How the fuck do you got a dog in this race? You got a dog in this race?
Absolutely not.
I ain't got one neither. But I know the difference between lies and truth. I seen Megan Thee Stallion go on Gayle King. I seen her go on live streams on Instagram. And all her stories, from the live stream to Gayle King to her getting on that stand, all contradict themselves. I seen Kelsey stay pretty consistent on live stream. Then a recorded conversation and her written statement to the prosecution in September 2020. 2.5 months ago, 3 months maybe, totally contradict what she just got on the stand and say 2 days ago, and yesterday for that matter. Right?
Right. Right.
That doesn't implicate to me that she's been paid. That implicates to me that this is a bitch. Excuse my language. This is a female playing the game of politics and judicial court system to where the judicial court system especially in a criminal court system, benefits her. This is excellence. This is street nigga shit to the maximum capability. And I feel like there's no way there's not a man backing her up on doing what she's doing right now. And I'm definitely not going to accredit her law firm or the law team she's working with. I'm going to credit somebody that has coached her to do the right thing to make sure that she does not lie and put a nigga like Tory in jail, who's a father, for something he didn't do, even if she did it. But make sure she protects herself so she don't got to do no time for nothing she did. It sounds like the perfect rider. This is a Bonnie and Clyde situation.
Right.
She's playing the perfect Bonnie role. She's playing such a perfect Bonnie role that Clyde may not ever need to hit the stand or say a fucking thing in his defense because she's labeled herself as uncredible, and so has Megan Thee Stallion. There's nothing Kelsey did to make Megan uncredible, right? Megan is uncredible because of everything she did to herself prior to this versus what she said when she got into the testimony for her case. Am I right, Mr. Mirachi?
Absolutely. You're right.
So with that being said, bro, it's the same thing with Gunner. When Gunner got on the stand right now, what this lawyer is interpreting to all of you right now is that, first off, in order for the captain of this shit, which right now looks like Young Thug in the YSL case, in order for him to be okay and not have to sync with his shit, it takes for his shit mates to hold a certain type of loyalty and commitment to make sure they do their job to the point to where he's safe. Gunner didn't do his job. Gunner said the record label he signed to, committed to, put out Pushing P's and all his music to, which is YSL, is not only just a record label, he
Say
gang.
repeat your beginning statement again, because it went out.
Gunner admitted to the record label he was signed to and put his biggest hits out under was not just a record label. He admitted to them being a gang, bro.
Right.
Not only did he admit to them being a gang, he admitted to them being a gang that were committing street crimes, which could possibly mean murder, robbery, theft, scams, whatever the fuck falls up under the RICO law or whatever they want to implicate on YSL. Which means if they got Young Thug on wiretaps for 10 bodies, like the prosecutors say, he's admitting he knows about crimes that were done under YSL, a gang.
Right.
That if the prosecution calls him to trial, his plea bargain says he has to come to trial. Listen further in this shit. Press play, bro.
Further says that Kitchens entered an Alford plea, which allows defendants to maintain their innocence while pleading guilty. So here's the plea agreement. I agreed to perform 500 hours of community service, a substantial portion of which will require that I speak to young men and women about the hazards and the immorality of gangs and gang violence and the decay that it causes in our community. I agree that the community service locations shall be determined by the Iowa, blah, blah, blah. I will possess no guns during the term of this sentence or any time. And he got 5 years commuted down to 1 for time served. So he's out and doesn't have to do any more time. Then you have the acknowledgments that we just saw. If he violates the plea agreement, the district attorney can and will use the statement during any judicial proceedings. Violation.
Did you hear what he said? Pause.
Go ahead.
Did you hear what he just said?
Yeah.
What'd he say?
any violations to those terms, he'll get the go. He goes back.
What about the fact, if necessary, he has to come and admit to each and every one of those terms? Did he accept it?
Yes.
Which means that if he has to be called into court to say that YSL is not just a record label, it's a gang, he has to come in there and say that and give the facts that he has. He admitted in his plea agreement that he knows for a fact and has been a part of criminal activity with YSL as a gang. His ending statement was YSL as a gang has to be stopped.
Right. Right.
You can play the rest of it if you feel like it.
His suspended sentence. So he's got, I think, 5 years hanging over his head. So people are talking about whether he's a snitch or not. Whether he's a snitch or not, we won't know until Lug's trial. Actually, we might know just a little bit before that, because my guess is that if he did snitch, the state would have to disclose that and disclose the witness's statement shortly before trial. But it isn't going to be much before trial, because he would have a target on his back, no question in my mind, if he decides to snitch. But here's the other thing. Whether Gunna's a snitch or not, fuck that. Who cares? Because there's 20 other people, or 27 other people who are charged in this indictment, right? And so I guarantee you they've got snitches that are going to be coming out of the woodwork. Whether Gunna is snitching or not, it's sort of immaterial, because I guarantee you they have...
He's right.
Not just be based upon Gunna's word and Gunna's word alone. They're going to have
Give me a pause, D. Marachi.
through text.
We done with him. Let's get into this, bro.
All right. Go ahead.
Yo, what he's saying is 100% correct. They got 27 other people who have admitted and already plead out and ready to testify on the behalf of saying YSL is a gang, and they willing to testify on their role that they participated in. What people need to understand is Gunner was a lame in the first place. He was a duck. He was greener than everybody else in YSL. Right. He played a high role on the rap standard of YSL, which means the majority of the role he played was in the music portion of YSL. He didn't play a huge role in the street gang portion of YSL.
Right.
But he's a very intricate part of having information, knowing who is who. He can point out what person is the character for every role they need to fill in the whole documentary of the YSL.
Right.
And he's willing to give that information. He doesn't have to give it to get out of jail. Trust and believe they already got it from him. That's why they let him out of jail. They're not releasing that yet. But they'll release to you the audio and leaked footage of him being in the courtroom admitting that he's willing to give up this information to get out of jail. You cannot violate the terms that you admit to the prosecution to get out of jail, because you'll automatically go back. That's the difference from what Young Thugger is doing and what Kelsey did. Kelsey done the shit that most street niggas ain't wise enough to do. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, Kelsey is showing a role that 99% of black women could never do. And that's saying I'm smart enough not to say nothing about nobody who could say something worse about me. I'm not willing to destroy somebody else's characters with lies when they can kill me with the truth.
Right.
What do I need to do to protect myself? If you're not going to talk about me, I'm not going to talk about you. But what can I do to protect myself so I don't have to end up being the person to go to jail for this shit? Okay, get you a good defense team. Get you some lawyers. Your lawyers make sure that if they want to use you as their witness, that you get immunity. Because you are no help to the prosecution if you are a witness for the defense. The defense can holler at the prosecution, and be like, well, all right, give this young girl immunity. We want blanket immunity for her, and then we'll put Tory on the stand, and then that girl gets blanket immunity, goes up on the stand for the defense, and says everything that is needed for the defense to win, even implicate herself. But guess what? The defense already made sure she got blanket immunity. So if they talking about Tory paid this bitch, she should be a witness for the defense team. And the defense team would have worked out her getting the full blanket immunity that she needs. She did not get blanket immunity.
Right.
She got a different type of immunity, meaning that if she doesn't do exactly what the prosecution needs her to do, the prosecution can come back and terminate her for other crimes. The problem is the prosecution went on the record right there live with the judge and said, we promise we will not prosecute her for anything she has to say. They weren't willing to give her blanket immunity. They were willing to come to the courtroom on live in real time and tell the judge, we're not going to prosecute her for anything she has to say. They were that thirsty for a testimony from her because they need her that bad to win after the damage that Megan Thee Stallion caused to her own case. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I want to read this statement that Gunna said. I know it really don't make a difference, but just to further add to the narrative that we're trying to get you guys to understand. Okay. Oh man. Okay. So we're gonna read along with me. Okay. It's from Fox 5, and this is Gunna releasing a statement. It said, when I became affiliated with YSL in 2016, I did not consider it a gang, more like a group of people from Metro Atlanta who had common interests and artistic aspirations. Hold on. My focus of why